All right, friends, let's imagine something for a minute. $1 million suddenly lands in your hands. Doesn't matter if it's an inheritance, a side hustle payout, a casino win, or a gift from someone who believes in you. The key is, it's yours now, and how you use it will define the next few years, maybe even the rest of your life. I know what your mind is doing right now. Lamborghinis, dream vacations, beach houses, private jets. And hey, I get it. $1 million is huge. But here's the truth. It's only life-changing if you handle it wisely. Spend recklessly, and it disappears. Spend strategically, and it becomes freedom, security, and opportunities you didn't even imagine. Most people, when asked this, think instantly about spending. A new car, a luxury vacation, maybe even a dream home. And there's nothing wrong with enjoying life, but here's the key. Fun is fine, but only when it's balanced with strategy. Impulsive decisions are the fastest way to blow a windfall. That's why, before touching a single dollar, you have to pause, breathe, and think. Ask yourself, what do I want my life to look like 5 years from now? 10 years? How can this money help me get there? Those answers guide your spending, investing, and saving in ways that excitement alone never can. Here's a reality check. $1 million feels enormous, but in today's world, it can disappear fast if mismanaged. Treat it like monopoly money, and it's gone in months. Treat it like a tool for building freedom and opportunity, and it becomes something far bigger than itself. That's why the first thing I would do is secure the basics. Forget luxury items for now. Pay off high-interest debts, credit cards, personal loans, maybe even student loans. Then make sure your emergency fund is solid. Cover your essentials: housing, healthcare, groceries, bills. Once your foundation is stable, everything else, investments, experiences, and yes, even a little fun, can happen without worry. Next, growth. Some portion of the million should go into investments that work for you while you sleep. Stocks, index funds, ETFs, maybe even real estate if that's your lane. This is where $1 million stops being just money and starts being a tool that generates more money, more freedom, and more choices. Imagine investing half of it wisely. In 10 years, that portion could easily double or more. That's the kind of thinking that turns a one-time windfall into a lifetime of opportunity. And yes, life isn't just numbers. Experiences matter. Travel, hobbies, small luxuries that create memories you'll never forget. But here's the difference. Plan it. Set limits. Decide what portion of your million goes to enjoyment, and stick to it. Fun becomes fuel for a happy, fulfilled life instead of a financial headache. Location also changes the picture. Living in New York City, $1 million might cover a down payment on a modest apartment. Living in a smaller city, it could buy a luxury home outright. The principle is the same. Secure your foundation, grow your wealth, and enjoy responsibly. Location changes the numbers, not the strategy. Think about the people you care about too. Maybe helping family, funding education, or supporting causes you love. Done strategically, this doesn't diminish your wealth. It reinforces values, strengthens relationships, and sometimes even opens doors to future opportunities. That's how $1 million turns into more than money. It turns into freedom, influence, and choices. Picture your million in your hands. What's your first move? Pay off debts? Invest? Travel? Buy a car? Every decision you make now sets the tone for the next 10 years of your life. Money magnifies behavior. Reckless, and it disappears. Strategic, and it grows. Every dollar has a purpose. Every choice has a consequence. And every step you take now builds your future. Handled correctly, that million doesn't just buy things, it buys freedom, security, and opportunities you can't put a price on. Approach it with a calm, intentional mindset. Treat it as a tool, not just cash to spend. Set the foundation, plan growth, allow room for enjoyment, and your life changes forever. That's the Uncle Weston way: practical, strategic, and fun. Money isn't magic, but how you use it sure can feel like it. Now that you've imagined holding $1 million in your hands, it's time to think about how to make it last, grow, and work for you. Remember, this isn't about flashy spending. It's about turning that windfall into real freedom. The first step is mindset. Treat your million as a tool, not just cash. That mindset alone will prevent most of the mistakes people make when they suddenly come into money. The first thing I always tell people: protect the core. That means making sure your essentials are completely covered. Housing, healthcare, and basic living expenses, set them up so you don't ever have to worry about them again. $1 million can secure these things for years, even decades, if you plan carefully. Don't just throw money at things you think you want. Focus on the things that keep your life stable and stress-free. Once your foundation is solid, it's time to think about allocation. You've got this million. How much goes to growth? How much to fun? How much to security? Here's how I'd approach it. Imagine splitting your million into 3 broad categories: essentials and safety, investments and growth, and enjoyment. For the essentials and safety portion, pay off any remaining debts. Fund an emergency account with 6 to 12 months of expenses, and make sure your living situation is secure. This is your base, the safety net that ensures the million doesn't slip through your fingers. Then comes investments and growth. This is where your money truly starts working for you. Stocks, index funds, ETFs, real estate. These are tools to grow your wealth over time. The goal isn't to gamble or chase high-risk, get-rich-quick schemes. It's to create a foundation that generates passive income, so your money works even when you're not. And yes, a portion is for enjoyment, travel, experiences, hobbies, maybe that dream car. But the difference here is planning. Decide how much, stick to it, and enjoy it without guilt. That's the balance that ensures wealth lasts longer than your impulse. Let's get specific. If you live in a city with high costs, maybe allocate $200,000 to $300,000 to secure housing, pay down a mortgage, or even buy a modest place outright. Use another $300,000 to $400,000 in diversified investments that earn steady returns over time. Keep some cash liquid for emergencies or opportunities. And finally, allocate $50,000 to $100,000 for life experiences and personal enjoyment. Adjust the numbers for your lifestyle and location, but the principle remains: security, growth, enjoyment, in that order. Next, let's talk about protection. Sudden money attracts attention, sometimes from people you trust, sometimes from those you don't. That's why part of protecting your million is keeping it organized and smart. Open accounts in reputable banks or investment platforms. Consider working with a certified financial planner. Protect your identity and financial information. Remember, your goal isn't just to hold the million. It's to ensure it lasts, grows, and benefits your life for years to come. Now, growth isn't just about numbers. It's also about opportunities. Real estate can create passive income. Index funds grow steadily. Bonds provide stability. The more diversified you are, the more resilient your million becomes. And here's a tip most people forget: don't just invest for growth. Invest for flexibility. Keep some cash liquid. Keep some in accessible accounts. That way, when a golden opportunity shows up, a side business, a real estate deal, an educational investment, you can seize it without panic. And yes, you can enjoy life while doing all this. Travel to that dream destination, try that hobby, take a class you've always wanted. But here's the trick: allocate enjoyment like a budget, not like a splurge. That keeps your experiences joyful without sabotaging your future. $1 million is powerful, but it's even more powerful when it's controlled, planned, and purposeful. Every dollar you allocate wisely multiplies. Every decision you make now determines whether this windfall lasts a few months or decades. The key is simple. Foundation first, growth second, enjoyment third. That formula turns sudden wealth into lasting freedom. Lastly, think about the ripple effect. Helping family, investing in education, supporting causes you care about. Done strategically, this strengthens relationships, reinforces values, and sometimes even creates future opportunities. Your million isn't just a personal windfall. It's a tool to build a life that matters, not just for you, but for the people and communities around you. Handled properly, that million buys more than things. It buys freedom, security, and the ability to make choices that most people can only dream of. Think of it as a blueprint. Protect your foundation, allocate for growth, and enjoy life responsibly. Follow that. And you're not just rich in money. You're rich in options, peace of mind, and opportunity. That's the Uncle Weston way. Calm, strategic, practical, and yes, fun. Now here's where things get really interesting. Because enjoying your million is one thing, but turning it into something that keeps paying you for years, maybe even decades, is where the real magic happens. A lot of people think the moment they receive $1 million, they've made it. But the truth is $1 million is not the finish line. It's the starting point. Think of it like planting a tree. If you plant it well, water it, and protect it, that tree grows and produces fruit for years. But if you neglect it, that same tree withers away. Money works the exact same way. One of the biggest mistakes people make when they suddenly come into money is lifestyle inflation. That's a fancy way of saying your spending grows faster than your income. Suddenly you're dining out every night. Subscriptions pile up. Expensive habits sneak into your routine. Before you know it, the million that once felt massive starts shrinking quietly in the background. The trick is simple. Upgrade your life carefully, not recklessly. Enjoy better things, sure. Maybe move into a nicer neighborhood or upgrade your car. But do it with intention, not impulse. Because the goal isn't just to look wealthy. The goal is to stay wealthy. Now let's talk about the engine that really makes your million powerful: compounding growth. Imagine you invest $600,000 into a diversified portfolio. Index funds, stocks, maybe some real estate investments. If that portfolio grows at an average of around 7% per year, something incredible starts to happen. In 10 years, that $600,000 could become over $1.1 million. In 20 years, it could grow to more than $2.3 million. That's without adding another dollar. That's the power of letting your money work quietly in the background while you live your life. And here's something a lot of people overlook: income streams. Wealthy people rarely rely on just one source of money. Instead, they build multiple streams of income. With $1 million, you have the opportunity to create exactly that. Maybe a portion goes into dividend-paying stocks that send you quarterly checks. Maybe another portion goes into rental property that produces monthly income. Maybe you invest in a small business or partnership that generates profits over time. Suddenly, instead of just spending money, your money starts sending money back to you. Let's say your investments generate just 5% annually in income. On $600,000, that's about $30,000 a year. That's not lottery money, but it could cover vacations, hobbies, or even a portion of your living expenses. And the best part? Your original investment stays intact, continuing to grow. That's when you realize something important. The real luxury of wealth isn't the car you drive or the house you live in. The real luxury is choice. Choice to work because you want to. Choice to take time off when life calls for it. Choice to help someone you care about without stressing about the cost. That's what financial freedom actually feels like. Another important piece of the puzzle is protecting what you've built. Insurance, estate planning, and smart tax planning may not sound exciting, but they matter more than people realize. A well-structured plan protects your wealth from unexpected setbacks, lawsuits, emergencies, or simple financial mistakes. It also ensures that the money you've built can support the people you care about long after you're gone. And while we're on the topic of protection, let me share something simple but powerful: patience. Wealth isn't built overnight. Even when you start with $1 million, patience is still the secret ingredient. Markets go up and down. Opportunities come and go. But those who stay disciplined, stay diversified, and stay focused on the long game are the ones who see the real rewards. Think about it this way. You could spend $1 million and enjoy it for a few years. Or you could structure that million carefully and create a financial life that supports you for decades. One path feels exciting today. The other creates peace of mind for years. And honestly, the most successful people I've met don't chase flashy lifestyles. They build quiet systems that work behind the scenes, investments that grow, income streams that flow, plans that protect everything they've worked for. From the outside, it might not look dramatic, but inside their lives, there's something incredibly valuable: stability. So if that $1 million ever lands in your hands, remember this. It's not just money. It's a seed, a starting point, a chance to design a life that gives you freedom, flexibility, and the ability to focus on what actually matters. Handle it carefully, and that million becomes far more powerful than it first appears. Now here's where the conversation gets really interesting. Because having $1 million is one thing, but setting it up so it keeps supporting your life year after year is where the real power shows up. Most people think wealth is about spending. Bigger house, nicer car, expensive vacations. And sure, those things are nice. But the real secret people with lasting wealth understand is this: money should work harder than you do. When your money starts producing more money on its own, everything changes. Let's say you've already handled the basics. Your debts are cleared, your housing situation is stable, and you've set aside some money for experiences and enjoying life. Now what remains becomes incredibly important, because this is the portion that can quietly build your future. This is where investing comes in. Not gambling, not chasing the latest hot stock someone mentioned on social media. I'm talking about steady, boring, reliable investing, the kind that builds real wealth over time. One of the simplest strategies many financially successful people use is investing in broad market index funds. Instead of trying to pick individual winners, you're investing in hundreds or even thousands of companies at once. When the economy grows, your investment grows. Historically, the stock market has returned somewhere around 7 to 10% annually over long periods of time. Some years are higher, some years are lower, but over decades, that steady growth becomes incredibly powerful. Imagine placing $600,000 into a diversified investment portfolio. At an average return of around 7% per year, something interesting begins to happen. In 10 years, that money could grow to over $1 million on its own. In 20 years, it could be closer to $2 million. And remember, that growth is happening while you're living your life. Working, traveling, spending time with family, enjoying the things that matter most. That's the quiet power of compounding. It's not flashy. It doesn't make headlines. But it's one of the most powerful forces in finance. Your money earns returns. Those returns earn returns. And over time, the snowball gets bigger and bigger. Another strategy worth considering is creating income-producing assets. Instead of only relying on growth, some people prefer investments that actually send the money on a regular basis. Dividend-paying stocks, rental properties, and certain investment funds can all generate income. Imagine receiving an extra $2,000 or $3,000 every month simply because your investments are working in the background. That kind of income changes how you think about life. Suddenly, work becomes optional rather than mandatory. And here's something most people don't talk about enough: flexibility. When you structure your money properly, you give yourself the ability to adapt when life changes. Maybe you want to take a year off and travel. Maybe you want to start a small business. Maybe you want to spend more time with family instead of working long hours. Financial flexibility gives you those choices, and a well-managed $1 million can create exactly that. Now let's talk about one of the biggest threats to sudden wealth: lifestyle creep. This happens when your spending slowly rises to match your money. First, it's a nicer car. Then it's frequent luxury vacations. Then it's expensive habits that become normal. Before long, the lifestyle that once felt exciting becomes expensive to maintain. The smartest approach is upgrading your life gradually, thoughtfully, and only in ways that truly improve your happiness. There's also something powerful about staying grounded. Many people who build lasting wealth continue living relatively normal lives. They invest consistently, they avoid unnecessary debt, and they focus on experiences and relationships rather than constant upgrades. That mindset keeps your finances healthy and your life balanced. And of course, protection matters too. Insurance, proper financial planning, and keeping your investments diversified all play a role in protecting what you've built. Because the goal isn't just to grow your wealth, it's to keep it safe while it grows. When you step back and look at the big picture, $1 million becomes something very different than most people imagine. It's not just spending power. It's not just a temporary lifestyle upgrade. It's a foundation, a starting point for building stability, freedom, and options in your life. Handled wisely, that $1 million can create income, opportunity, and peace of mind for years to come. And once you reach that point, you start to realize something important. The real value of money isn't the things it buys. The real value is the control it gives you over your time, your choices, and the life you want to build. So let's step back for a moment and look at the bigger picture. $1 million sounds like a massive number. For most people, it represents success, security, and the dream of never worrying about money again. But as we've talked about, the truth is a little deeper than that. $1 million by itself doesn't guarantee anything. What really matters is how you think about it and what you choose to do with it. Some people receive a windfall and treat it like a celebration that never ends. New cars, expensive habits, constant upgrades. At first it feels incredible, but eventually the money fades away and the stress returns. Others take a different path. They slow down. They think carefully. They build a plan that turns that one moment of luck into something much bigger. The difference between those two paths isn't intelligence or luck. It's discipline and perspective. The people who keep their wealth understand something simple. Money is not the destination. It's a tool that can buy security, a tool that can buy time, a tool that can buy opportunities most people never get to experience. When used wisely, that $1 million can eliminate debt, create income streams, fund investments, and give you the freedom to design your life in ways that many people only dream about. It can allow you to choose work you enjoy instead of work you're forced to do. It can allow you to spend more time with the people you care about. It can allow you to say yes to opportunities that once felt impossible. But the most interesting thing about money is that once your basic needs are covered, the real value of wealth shifts. It stops being about the things you can buy, and it starts becoming about the choices you can make. Choice to slow down when life gets overwhelming. Choice to travel when you feel curious about the world. Choice to support someone who needs help without putting yourself at risk. Choice to spend your time on things that actually matter to you. That's what financial freedom really looks like. Not flashy, not loud, just quiet control over your own life. And here's something worth remembering. Even if $1 million never lands in your lap overnight, the principles we've talked about still apply. Building wealth slowly through saving, investing, and disciplined decisions can create the exact same freedom over time. The numbers may change, the timeline may be different, but the mindset stays the same. Protect your foundation, invest for the future, enjoy life without letting lifestyle take control of your finances. And remember that money works best when it's guided by intention. If $1 million ever finds its way into your life, treat it with respect. Don't rush. Don't chase every shiny opportunity. Build something steady. Build something that supports the life you actually want. Because at the end of the day, wealth isn't measured by how quickly money comes into your life. It's measured by how long it continues to serve you. Handled wisely, $1 million isn't just a number. It becomes freedom. It becomes opportunity. It becomes the starting point for a life designed on your own terms. And that, my friends, is the real power of money.